How's it going, everybody? I hope you guys are all doing good. Today, we're going to talk about facing your problems and not avoiding the problems around you. Now, I think this topic is very important because we live in a world, and we always have, as it's a human nature to try to run away from your problems or bury them somewhere that is not seen, but in reality doesn't ever go away. It's just a psychological trick that you're playing only against yourself and only for the detriment of yourself. You see, problems are a good thing. I'm going to explain why it's a positive thing, and I'm pretty sure most of you listening know and understand why problems are a good thing and why we should have problems in order to grow. But then when problems do arise, sometimes too many to the point where we think we can't bear, then we don't want problems anymore. We just want peace. We just want the problems to simply just go away. But you see, what's the point of a problem going away if you're not going to learn anything from it? The idea that I'm trying to get at is when you have a problem, think that as a blessing. I think it's a blessing because every problem teaches you something. Every problem, you can learn something from every problem. If anything, you grow in character, you grow in trust for God that He is giving you these obstacles to overcome only for your own benefit. Because let's think about it, right? Think back to the time where you had your problems and you know you almost didn't have a choice, but you had to somehow solve the problem. Or you had a dirty room and you were tired of it and you had to tell yourself, all right, I'm done. I'm going to clean it up now. You see, these are the little issues that were caused by, let's say, you were unclean in your room or you weren't responsible. Now you had a problem. Now that problem is there for you to realize that, okay, I did something. Now I need to solve it. That's not always the case. You don't always do something for the problem to arise. Some things can be external, some are internal. But the idea is it's there and you're conscious and your understanding of these problems and issues, and it's about how do you go about it, how do you face your problems, and it's a perspective. Do you look at your problems as an opportunity for you to grow, as an opportunity for you to face them and you know, overcome it, or do you look at it in a perspective that's victimizing and say, oh, why does it always have to be me, or why is it me, why can't the problem just go away, why can't I just lay back and do nothing and have no problems? Is that really the lifestyle that you would live? Because you see, as much as problems can be problematic, it can also be a way for you to, like I said, grow in character. But not only that, but make you feel like you're really growing in your character, becoming a different person, transforming into a different being. Because my stories of my problems that I'm looking back, I'm so grateful I had all those problems, all those hardships that I had to go through in order for me to be where I am here. If I had to be in that situation of the times, then I would probably want to quit. I would probably want to say, okay, I'm done with this. But I didn't know the outcome. I didn't know how it was going to end. But the problem bothered me so much that I had to say, okay, it's time for me to change. I don't like who I am. I don't like the way I'm living. I don't think God would want me to do this. And I changed my being. I changed my habits. I changed my behavior. I changed my surrounding, my environment. I started cleaning up my room, taking care of my surroundings, making everything more cleaner, and cleaning up not just the physical matter, but the spirit, right? The mind. And when once you do that, you understand that through those issues, through those problems, you just transformed yourself into a different being, into a better person, and into a stronger person. Because every problem is taking you to become a better and a stronger person, right? Think about a muscle that you're training in the gym. The heavier weight you do, let's say, or the harder you train, the more the muscle grows. Meaning the more stress you put on your body, the stronger your body gets. So it's not really any different when you apply that to life. When you have problems, it's a good thing because now you have an opportunity to grow. You have an opportunity to get stronger. And I'll be honest, problems get you closer to God. Since this is kind of like a Christian channel, I really want to tie this in here because, you know, as I've been reading the Bible and looking at the stories of different prophets and the characters that are going through things and God challenging them to, you know, um, challenging them to get more wise and gain more wisdom and understanding towards why God is doing what He's doing. For the most part, in the stories, if you have read the Bible, God doesn't really tell them, "Hey, like this is going to be the outcome," or "This is how it's going to end," or "This is why I'm doing it." He just simply tells them to trust Him and to focus on God and to put your trust in God while going through these challenges. This not only establishes a healthy and a good relationship with God, but it makes you um, a better person by putting your head down and just solving the problems. Because these are the problems that are not only going to help you, but it's going to help everybody else around you. When you're going to know how to solve a problem, somebody else comes to you with the same problem or something different, you're able to help them because you solved the problem. Not only that, but you having an understanding on how to look at it from a healthy perspective. Somebody that's struggling with having so much on their plate, you're able to give them this and help them with a healthy understanding on the problems, and it will then get that extra weight off their shoulders to confronting the problem and confronting the issue. It's there for a reason. It's supposed to be there. If the problem and obstacles are not there, what's the point of living? Right? What's the point of us even being on this earth if there's nothing to solve? There is a problem to solve, and we have that opportunity. We have that responsibility to go out there and solve that problem. Go after the mission, whatever God desired us to do. Every single individuals for a different purpose, because we all have different gifts, and with these gifts, we are solving different problems. We're going through a different path of different obstacles, different issues, different heartbreaks, different financial situations, different type of I would say mental and spiritual battle for us to then become the people we were meant to be for the purpose that is out there for us. This is just a better perspective on life and better and healthier perspective on when problems do arise. What do? How are you going to deal with a problem that you don't even know why it's there? Or how are you going to deal with a problem that you don't even want to deal with? But with a healthier perspective on when a problem rises, you're like, okay, boom, I have something to solve. Now let's go about solving it. This is not going to be the case. You're not always going to have the healthy understanding on the problem. Sometimes I myself are like, oh, why do I have these problems? Or why is it me? But that doesn't really solve anything. That's just victimizing yourself and trying to deflect the responsibility that was given to you for a reason. And you're just trying to throw that away and think about yourself and think about what's going to make you feel good at the moment, because the problems won't. Not at the moment. It will in the future, but not at the moment. So you're thinking about yourself, then the problem itself that can help others, help you in the long term, and the society. So it's like there's just so many things that come with just a shift of perspective between problems being a good thing versus problems being a bad thing. So my whole message is just to embrace the problems, whatever you're going through. I do not know that, but I just want you to always remember that no matter what it is that you're going through, no matter what it is that you're faced with, it's there for a reason. It's not something that is so tough for you not to overcome. It's not so tough for you to not find a way from it. Because, like I said, when you trust in God, He was the one that put you on this earth for a reason, and He wants to have a relationship with you. He wants you to walk with Him with trust, right? Because that mission, that purpose that He gave you on this earth to do, He's going to be there with you, guiding you to the path. The only thing is, you have to learn through that experience, through those problems, through the personal and internal issues to deal with those obstacles and learn to trust and overcome. Trust the process, what they say, right? as you walk on that path and you see the obstacles, you might not understand why they're there. You might not even know how to solve the problem. But once you take on the problem, take on the responsibility, you get a hang of it. You're like, okay, maybe this is the way to do it. Maybe this is what's going to minimize the problems. And that's what we really want. We want to minimize the problems. They will never go away, but it's about minimizing them and making it so it's not obviously completely out of the picture, even though some of them we should actually just not even want to be in our lives. But the idea is there's always going to be something for you to solve. There's always going to be something for you to chase, always something for you to get better by solving. So, like I said, trust in God, and because He wants you to live a fulfilled life. I think that's the biggest and the best thing that human beings can have is to have some kind of purpose and some kind of mission, some kind of responsibility for you to have. Not everybody has the same type of responsibilities, but you see, the God knows your level. God knows where you are. He meets you where you are. So if you think that your problem is not something that you can bear, always remember that there's somebody that has it harder, somebody that is going through something tougher, and always there's always a case where you're going through something um, that's more of a problem than somebody else. But always remember that um, I heard this and this really changed my perspective. God gives strong problems or strong battles to his strongest soldiers. So always remember that, it's a gift. It's actually an honor to have bigger problems, meaning God thinks that you're a strong character. God thinks that you are a strong person that can overcome this problem. And that will then ultimately kind of define your characteristic towards who you can be and who you can become and what kind of man you can be for the society, for the world, for your family. So always remember that. Keep that in your head that problems is a good thing. Problems are a positive thing. You need to remind yourself that no matter what it is, you just have to do. You just have to deal with it. You just have to take on the problems rather than complaining. Complaining doesn't take away the problem. Complaining adds to those problems. But when you try to solve the problems, you reduce the problems. You don't overburden yourself with complaints and why me or why that and how can I just bury the problem? Problems never bury itself. Problems are still there. If anything, it just gets bigger and bigger. And it bugs you in the back of your mind all the time. Your consciousness, yourself calling you to, okay, you know that there's a problem, right? But then you try to ignore it. You're like, nah, it's fine. It will go away eventually. And then it's getting bigger and bigger to the point where it's overwhelming. And if you bury it deep down so much that it can get to the point where it's so deep into your mind that you have some kind of anxiety, some kind of depression, some kind of, I would say, this weird feeling because of that problem. That problem was never solved. So it's yourself telling you that, hey, there is something that you buried so deep down that you don't even understand why you feel the way you do. So that's why when you look into yourself, reflect, just be present and find that problem and be brave enough to confront that problem and say, okay, it's there, and what can I do about it now? So always remember that it's a good thing to have problems. It's a good thing that you have obstacles. It's a good thing that you have something to chase, something to solve, right? Because it is for the great cause of your future and the future of the world. Always remember that. So the Bible verse I will share is from Joshua chapter 1, verse 9. Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. Just like how I mentioned, God will always be with you. God is always with you. He always knows why He is putting something on your plate or giving you something, whether that's good or bad, for its reason. You just need to trust Him that it will be it will be a good outcome towards your life. And not just that, but it's a meaningful thing for you to do for the world, right? Because let's think about it. It's not really about us. This life, yeah, you can say it's for me or it's about me, but it's really not. If you look around you, there's so many other people that are going through their own stuff. And if everybody thinks about themselves, then everybody, I feel like, will be depressed. Everybody will be sad. Everybody will have so much problems that they can't even handle. That's why we're here for each other. We are supposed to think about each other. We are supposed to help each other. But always remember that before you help somebody else, you have to help yourself. You have to learn to know that you are able to help yourself. If you can't help yourself, you can't help somebody else. One person that you know the best is yourself. Somebody that you are living with for the most of your life is yourself. So if you can't deal with that person, it's very hard for you to deal with somebody else. So learn that first, and then it's a stepping process. Then you go and take on, let's say, responsibilities of other people's little by little, and then learn to then solve those problems. So there's also one more quote that my friend posted on his story. Shout out to Mike, and he was going through a tough time of his own yesterday, of because he's doing 75 hard, and he wanted to quit at some point, and he didn't know what to do. He was just overwhelmed with so much things that he had in his life, like injuries, and he was feeling a little sick and all that kind of stuff. And these are the type of things, those are problems, those are big problems. Those are the things that it's like, which one do I do? What do I do? It's an internal battle that you're going through. And he posted on his story with a little poster and said, until death, all defeat is psychological. Until death, all defeat is psychological. And this is just, it's a very, very strong and good perspective on how to deal with your problems. Because let's think about it. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger, right? That's another quote. And it's like, no matter what it is that you think is so tough for you and so hard for you, remember that it's more psychological than not. You're gonna overburden yourself by saying this is just too hard for me to overcome, too much for me to handle. But in reality, once you take on the challenge, you're probably gonna realize for the most part that, oh, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was. That's why you have to try your best not to procrastinate on the problems, because I've done that. I have put away the problems, did something else, and that problem didn't go away. It was always there, except it got bigger and bigger. And as the days go on, there's different things that you got to do every day. And if you don't do the things that you intended to do, you have to make up for it the next day. And sometimes it doubles. So always remember to kind of understand that problems don't go away, they only add to each other. So whenever there's a problem, try to solve it there. And if you don't solve the whole thing, that's completely fine. If you don't solve half of it, that's also fine, as long as you don't ignore it and you don't push it aside, even though you know it's important. So just remember that, guys. And I hope this video helps you guys. Share it with a friend or somebody that might need to hear this, might want to hear it. Hit the subscribe button, like the video, because this really helps me out and motivates me to also do more videos. I will keep on doing these type of videos. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what kind of topics you guys enjoy. This is a Christian channel. This is also a channel of self-improvement. I'm tying Christianity, God, and self-improvement together because I think it's a way of life. So let me know what you guys think. Let me know your suggestions on the future topics. Ask me questions. DM me on Instagram, Sadullah_Natilari. It's going to be linked in the description. Follow my TikTok and YouTube as well. I post some gym content, my diet and everything, just self-improvement things in general. Feel free to reach out. Join the Guild community on Discord. Me and Mike have it. It's a community where people are on self-improvement. People are trying to help each other. People are trying to build a strong community that will, result in the freedom and enlightenment of our youth and whatever we need, solving problems, tackling the evil, the issues of the world, whatever that may be. And I'll be glad to see you guys in there. Whatever you guys need to speak to, anybody is open there to talk to. And yeah, thank you for watching this video until the end. And always remember, God loves you. You're not alone. And keep on chasing your dream. Have a good one, guys. Peace.